Starting today's journey in Lubec, we're actually going to take Route 1 due north. We're going to travel from this coastal community that borders Canada and really follow Route 1 right along the Canadian border, bordering the St. John River. As you can see on this map, Route 1 does go through some pretty nice small Maine towns, but there's a very large portion of it that is super duper desolate. Load up, Duke. It's fixing to be a wicked good time, Bob.
Hey, stop taking a break. If we're gonna make Presque, we gotta rip and grip.
I gotta start drinking, baby.
All right, we just gassed up, had a chicken burger, and we're back on the road again. We're trying to push hard today because we got to get to the state park up in Presque, Maine. And currently we're 138 miles out of it, so it looks like we're going to be getting up there right before dark. And Grandpa 5000 doesn't want to set up in the dark. I don't want to set up in the dark either. Why are we pushing to get to Presque tonight? Well, the rain tomorrow is supposed to come in down here where we are in Lubec at corner number 2. 100% chance of rain starting at 5 a.m. and we're supposed to get like 2 inches of rain, and it doesn't stop raining all day long. So we really don't want to be in that if we don't have to. So instead we're just going to push up to Presque tonight, and the rain chances up there are only 40% between 8 and 10 a.m. So I think that that's a better gamble. And if it rains a little bit, we can just hang back at the campsite and get a later start, or we could just pack up and ride through it like men. Yes. But so far this trip has been very good. Done a lot of miles today. See here, we've done 357 miles so far, which is awesome. It's a lot for these back roads, bumpy, twisty, and checking stuff out, but it's been epic so far. So we'll check in with you in a little bit. Town line entering Medibumps. Medibumps. It's a condition after you have gotten bitten by mosquitoes. You have Medibumps. Ah, yes, I'm not joking. That's the name of the town, Medibumps. My island is right over there. What's fantastic right at this moment is that we've gotten behind an 18-wheeler loaded with totes of putrid fish guts. If you had smell-o-vision right now, you would unsubscribe and cancel. It is so bad. Ah! This is gross. I've got to get by this guy. Ah, that's a relief. I feel like I need to go take a shower with my motorcycle. So we're actually skirting the Canadian border. We're kind of jogging around it. Route 1 kind of follows it up straight north, and that's where we're heading, up Presque. Holton's the first stop, and then Presque's right above it, just a couple miles. Hopefully everybody's okay. Yeah, just looks like he broke down. All right. We slowed down. I thought it was a student driver, but apparently the guy likes Black Sabbath.
Repent and be saved!
I'd figure I'd come on and talk just for a second about the way the interstate/highway system is in Maine. There's only one interstate that goes through Maine, and that's I-95. And it doesn't actually go straight through. What it does is it comes up and then hooks to the right and exits. Once you get off of Route 1, off of I-95, you have to take Route 1 everywhere you want to go. North and south, that is. So this is still Route 1. We've been on Route 1 all day long. And it's a good road. I mean, it's well maintained, but it's 2 lanes. You get stuck behind people going really slow and there's a lot of traffic, your trip doubles its time, especially in the summer months. Also, if there's an accident, again, it becomes an issue. So, you know, I'm kind of glad Maine doesn't have this massive interstate system going north to south, east to west, but at the same time, it does slow traffic down. But the whole point of life is to enjoy the journey, correct? So I enjoy the slower roads. What Route 1 does here is it basically goes from small town to small town, just like we're doing right now. We're in Princeton, Maine. We're getting away from the coast and we are heading towards Presque, where we're going to spend the night. Welcome to Danforth. I have no idea where we are. I know we're on Route 1 heading north, so we're going in the right direction, but it's been a solid 30 minutes and I haven't seen a vehicle. It's a lonely stretch of road. There's no houses. This is Route 1, the north end of it, almost to the end of it actually, and the road is quite rough. A lot of potholes and ditches and patches. Anyways, it is a nice ride. It's still 78 degrees at 6:11 p.m. So it's still quite warm for northern Maine. Quite warm indeed. There's a circus over there. Crazy. Out in the middle of nowhere. We should go join it. We could put a sideshow on. Nice. So we just crossed over right before that circus to Aroostook County. Everybody in Maine calls Aroostook County simply the county. The county. If you look on a map, the county encompasses a good chunk of the state of Maine. And most of it is uninhabited. Most of the towns aren't even named, they're just numbers and letters. And what I found when I was planning this motorcycle trip is it's so remote they don't want you to bring motorcycles over most of the roads in the county. Most of the roads in the county are maintained by, at least on the western side and north side of it, by the Great Maine Woods, or the Great North Woods, I believe, Great North Woods. So they don't want motorcycles because of logging trucks and the fact that it's too remote and a fire could be started and all types of reasons. So Maine really is like the final frontier. You see the shows on TV about Alaska and how Alaska's this crazy place, but Maine is not that far off of it. It's very similar. A lot of the temperatures are the same, if not a little bit warmer, but pretty close. And there's just great vast tracts of land that are open for the exploration. Maine really is a beautiful place. I mean, look at that, right? I just saw a sign back there that said 130 acres, $30,000. I mean, where could you buy 130 acres for $30,000? Maine, that's where you could buy it. Coming back into some civilization here. This is Holton, Maine. So we've traveled up Route 1 quite a bit. Now we're getting into some of the old mill towns again. Again, bordering Canada. Things are a lot different with the border shut down. A lot of people can't travel back and forth, but Holton's pretty good size, pretty robust community. And if you're wondering where 95 ends, it essentially ends just a little bit up the road from here, right into Canada. This is pretty much the end of the road for I-95 North in the United States. So from here we take Route 1 straight up to points north. Here's a site you'll see quite a bit in Maine. Potato fields. The county is loaded with potatoes. They grow perfectly up here. The soil conditions, the temperature, etc. It's just a prime location for them to grow. So, believe it or not, the state of Maine is the #2 exporter in the world for potatoes, next to, you guessed it, Idaho. So you're either eating Idaho potatoes or perhaps you're eating Maine potatoes. I think Maine potatoes take better, but I am also obligated to say that. Did I mention that Maine has potato fields? There they are. Thought I'd take a little back road for a moment. Yes, good dirt glide, good dirt glide. Where's the Grandpa 5000? Okay, he's still back there. He's probably saying, what in the wide world of sports are we doing? We're in the final 10 minutes of the journey. When we get to the campground, the other issue that we're going to have is, do they have a site available? So the way the state of Maine parks work is pretty much they're completely reserved as soon as spring opens the reservation line. And then they keep like 2 sites per park open for non-reservation. So basically you just show up and you hope they have a site. Now I did call earlier today and said, do you have a site? And they said, yes, we have one non-reservable site that's open right now. And I asked them, is there any possible way for a fellow Mainer you would hold that site open for me? And the guy was like, nope. So I was like, thanks a lot. But anyways, I'm hoping that site is open, and we're gonna be there close to sunset. It's already getting, it was raining here earlier, and so we kind of like are trying to plan this trip around the rain, like I've said. So it's not supposed to rain here tomorrow unless 40% chance. That's it. And it's only supposed to do for 2 hours in the morning, so we might dodge that bullet. And of course it rained pretty good here earlier, and now it's not raining, so we dodged that bullet. So I'm hoping that we show up at this campground, we got a site, it's dry, can pitch a tent, have a fire, drink some bourbon. That's what I'm looking forward to. We made it to Presque.
Yes, your bub.
You always know you're coming into Presque because you can see Perry's Market. Yes, sir, Bob. Wicked decent.
Yeah.
We made it. I can't believe we made it. Now let's hope they didn't rent out our site or have to burn down this cabin.
Get off my lawn.
No one's at the gate. You basically pay your own fee, and camping parties only. I guess this is the way we go. You pay your own fee, and then you write on the envelope that you're staying and your information. You put the money in, and then you drop it in a slot. But they didn't say if the campground was full or not. They just said you can only stay at a site that does not have a red flag on it. So we'll see. We will see. I've stayed at a lot of state parks in Maine, and actually camping in general, I like to try to stay at state parks even if it's not in Maine, because it's less money, it's more natural, and oftentimes it's high quality. So that's what we're gonna see. Hello, ladies. And I have stayed at this campground one other time, and it was a while ago. It was probably 15 years ago at least. So there's one site, 17. Let's go up here. 17, 2 has a red flag, 4 has a red flag, 3 has a red flag. Those are bathrooms. Stay at one of those. 5 is open. 6 is open. Oh, this one's open too. This one's nice. These are all nice. 25 is open too. I'm gonna take this one. Situation, setting up a tent. I'd like to go back to the Grandpa 5006 technology here. You see this tent right here? That's like WW2 situation. Like the boys in the trenches were setting these things up.
Yeah.
Actually, I'd like to put my hand out to you there, Darcy. How many miles did we do today? 500 and change?
Yeah, I gotta look.
So that's nothing to shake a stick about. Nice. So we're set up. I apologize, folks. It is super dark out here. But there's a tent here, and there's a motorcycle here. And then there's another motorcycle there. And there's a tent being set up there. We'll see you in the morning. Good morning. Current situation, day 2. We got the tents. We're picking them up. Grandpa 5000, he's already got the tent picked up. And we're going to load up. Now, it's kind of looking a little dreary today. They said 40% chance of rain. So we want 0% chance of encountering that. But we're going to try to get to Fort Kent to visit a friend. And then we're going to get down to Lily Bay, which is the side of Moosehead at a Greenville Junction. So stick around. And we're off. 61 degrees. Got down to about 52 last night. Kind of nice sleeping weather. It was so hot yesterday. It's craziness. All right, let's go get some food. Loaded up. I think the rain scared a lot of people off because there's a lot of empty sites here. When I called earlier, he was saying it was one site open, that was it. But it rained quite a bit. Weather forecast update for back home, 4 inches of rain today. So I'm really glad that we pushed forward to get away from the coast and escape that storm that was coming up. So that'll be nice. So today's agenda, we got to get to Fort Kent, Madawaska, which is where the Four Corners Park is, and then down a back road which is kind of like a logging highway up here, Route 11, and we're going to take that back to the Lily Bay State Park on the tip of Moosehead, if we can make it that far. I think we will. I think we'll be able to. These rubber things here are called rubber razors. It's an invention some guy made up here, and basically what it does is it slows water down so it doesn't wash out the road. It's kind of cool. Let's get it on. All set, buddy? Yes, sir. People in Maine are so friendly. They really are. It's the biggest thing I like about this place. All right. Let's rock. We're coming into Presque. This is kind of like the northern outpost of the United States. Presque's sometimes called the crown jewel of Maine or the crown of Maine. This is the big hotel here. This is the Presque Island and Convention Center. It's kind of like the place to go. The snowmobile trails end up in there. But yeah, no, this is it. This is the big city. It's not really that big of a city though, and it's a tough place. Right on the border. University of Maine's kind of like one of their big things. There were paper mills and stuff up here, but most of them have closed. I don't know what the current status is. I know we went through one yesterday. Man, the smell of paper mills is very distinct, very acrid, pungent to the nostrils. But as we were growing up, there was one in the town next to where we lived, and when we would drive through it, it'd say, "Man, what does that smell?" And my dad would always say, "Smells like money." Presque, nice little town, and I'm super happy that the sun is attempting to shine through the clouds, so this is great. But very much a farm-oriented community. Farming is what supports the North Country up here. Logging, of course, is also a big deal, but farming is where it's at.
Get some breakfast here. Governor's Restaurant, Bob. Governor's. This is a staple in Maine. There ain't too many left, but there's still one up here in Presque. Yes, sir. What'd you say you were going to order?
Pancakes.
Yumbo. This is what Governor's is famous for. They got these pies. Look at those things. I mean, look at that situation right. That's what I'm having for breakfast. What are we looking at, Darcy?
The eggs any style. I think I'm gonna juggle them. That should make them scrambled. I get it. Yeah, you can.
Smoking Harry's, where'd you get all that money?
Well, you know me. That money tree works pretty good. Just needs fertilizer.
1 hour later.
All right. Yeah, you're not going to like the way this sounds if you like Harley Davidsons, because it's too quiet. It's not, see, it's not a Harley. Everybody always complains about that. All right, we'll see you later, sir. Everybody's super friendly up here. Talking to the gentleman there when I was checking out, and he wanted to know why we had all the motorcycle gear on, and we told him about our trip, and he wouldn't leave. He followed me to my bike. I thought for a second he was going to ask me to go for a ride. Nice old fella. Really like those type of people. But anyways, when I started it up, yeah, you could see him. It doesn't sound like a Harley. So, what are you gonna do? Holy moly. That was close. I've got full coverage. Come closer, dear. See, he didn't like the way it sounded either. All right, time to go Route 1 north here. Presque, Maine, yes sir. Heuristic Center Mall, and one time we were here, I was there working on a fire alarm system, quite the long service call, and I heard a Black Hawk, and I looked out and there was a Black Hawk landing in the parking lot. It was rather funny. Repair took all of 15 minutes, and straight up 95 from my house, this is 6 hours, so long time for a simple fix. Welcome to Caribou. Caribou, Maine is the most northeastern city in the United States, and mainly farm country. Downtown is that way. We're not going that way. We're on Route 1 still, heading up to Madawaska. But you can see it is absolutely breathtaking. Again, enjoying the scenery. A lot of farm country, a lot of potatoes, a lot of really nice people. If you look over to the right, there's a bridge, and that's Canada. The border runs right along here. It's kind of crazy. Not much that separates Canada from the USA. Welcome to Van Buren. Van Buren's right on the border. The gateway to Canada, as they call it. Beautiful scenery. Some of what you're looking at is Canada, for what it's worth. We're right on the border. We're going to stay on Route 1 all the way to the tip. They sell gas in liters for a Canadian friend, yeah. That was kind of Scandinavian, actually. For our Canadian friend, yeah. The only Waffle House by Canada. Scrambled Diner. Yes, sir. So I don't know if you can see these reflectors. They're kind of big and white and spaced quite a bit on these straight stretches. A lot of people might wonder what those are for. Well, in areas where moose are very likely to go across the road, there's a lot of collisions, they put these reflectors in. And essentially what you're supposed to look for when you're driving here is one of the reflectors to stop shining as a moose is walking in front of it. See, moose, their eyes are not reflective like deer or other animals, and they're also very, very high up. So even if they are slightly reflective, your headlights really won't meet them. Oftentimes all you do is see the shadow move in front of you and then you hit the moose. So very, very dangerous. Moose collisions, being a firefighter for a number of years, been to quite a few of them. They usually just fall on top of the car and take the passenger and driver right out. That's why when they say if you see one and you can't stop, lay down in the seat as quick as you can and let the moose kind of make the convertible happen. So those reflectors, that's a safety thing that's pretty new in the last couple of years, and they say that it does work. So thankfully I haven't had to test that theory yet. I would hate to meet one on a motorcycle, that's for sure. But they are big animals, very, very big. They're beautiful though, if you do get to see one in person, and if I do see one, I'll make sure we stop and take pictures. But they are beautiful, but very dangerous to get involved with on a motor vehicle, especially on a motorcycle. If you look over here to the right, that's Canada. The river is the border, so there's really not much separating. Canada has quite a few border towns, whereas Maine is more farming. So with the border being closed because of COVID, it's a little difficult. A lot of times you go over there to get stuff, supplies and what have you, and right now you can't. And of course the Canadians love to come over to the United States for a few things like liquor, beer, and gasoline, because those are much cheaper over here. Also cigarettes, but if you're still smoking, disgusting, stop the habit, people. But yeah, those are the things, because they're taxed very heavily in Canada. There's all types of stories. Some of my older friends used to tell me about how their parents would rig the cars with false bottoms to smuggle Canadian Club whiskey across the border so they wouldn't be seen. It's kind of interesting. So I gotta be careful. This is super dangerous with this grass right here. Jeez Louise. At least he stopped while we were there, but that stuff is so slippery. Out in the middle of nowhere is this huge church. I wish I knew the story behind it. But it's out in the middle of nowhere. Massive. Welcome to Madawaska. We finally made it, yes? All right. So it was called Grand Isle, but not back there. Now we're in Madawaska, which again, the Acadia area is massively big here from, you know, Canada. You're rolling along, there's nothing, and then there's this massive church just sitting there. It's crazy. I've never seen anything like it. So there's not much going on here in Madawaska, but we are going to go to Four Corners Park is. You can see Canada over there through the trees. It's very well built up. There's actually an interstate that runs pretty much parallel to the river. In Maine we have Route 1. Madawaska is known for see the buildup over there. There's travel centers and everything. Madawaska is known for Fraser papers. You can see the paper mill in the distance. They are a large paper producing facility. I believe they make toilet and tissue paper, so they've been busy, very busy. Pretty much the largest employer up here is the paper company or logging for the paper company. Or you're a farmer and you're growing potatoes. Many people up here speak French as well, because Canada, Quebec area of Canada, New Brunswick, those areas, they speak French. So as soon as you cross the border, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Quebec, pretty much everybody's speaking French. It's kind of crazy. A lot of them do speak English as well. Sometimes they play games with you and say they do not know English. And then you say, oh, sir, sorry, you dropped a $20 bill. And they look down, where is it? And you're like, listen to me. You know how to speak English. Tim Hortons, the Canadian version of Dunkin' Donuts.
Good going.
Stay over here for donuts.
Don't listen to him, eh? He's a hoser.
And here we are, the Four Corners Park. Finally, we made it.
What is the Four Corners trip? One of them is of the United States, and that's a big one. That goes from Portland, Oregon, down to the Mexican border, all the way over to Key West, Florida, and then ending right where we are right now, up in Madawaska at the Four Corners Park. Don't tell Darcy, but this guy did it on a Goldwing. The second one, and the one we're doing, is the Four Corners of Maine, which we end up in our second corner from Lubec to, obviously, Madawaska, where the Four Corners Park is. So this is a pretty famous place, and you never know who you're going to run into up here.
Grandpa 5000, we made it.
Yeah, we did.
Four Corners. Come over here. Well, we just took his picture here. You can ride it. Darcy, you took your picture through the wrong face, though. You should have been on the other side.
Yeah, Pete forced me. I really didn't want to take it.
Yeah.
He wanted me on that Harley.
You know, that's what they said. I like this little thing right here. Things to do today. Mow the grass, clean the garage, wash the car, or clean the yard. Let's see what happens. Oh. Go ride bike. Oh, honey, that's what they said.
No.
And I'm here with Joe
and Diane.
and Diane Lachance, and they are speaking the French.
Oui.
Right, yes.
Everyone does up here. I feel out of place.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about this place.
Well, when we first started, there was two old buildings, one on that side of the road and one on this side. And it had been about 20 years, nobody had lived in either one of them. And it really looked bad for the town because one had caved in and there was some rats and all kinds of stuff. So I thought, you know, how could I clean that up and make something out of it? So I thought, what about a park? And we're going to invite people to come over to one of the Four Corners of the United States. So actually, the fountain over there, we're using the exact water from the building that was there. And on this side, we're using the water and the sewer from the building that was there.
Wow.
And we, what we did is, in order to take all these buildings apart, the contractor wanted to come out and do a claw and take it all out, but that would have destroyed all the buildings. So I said, what about giving the buildings to local clubs that need wood and need windows and things like that? And that's what we did. So the clubs came in and they took everything that they wanted out of the buildings, the furnaces, everything. And then we had the contractor come in, Ed Pitchy and Son, he came in and he took all this stuff out. Now, a buddy of mine does tarring, and he said, Joe, he says, that's all got to be mud in a couple of weeks. He said, why don't we go out and tar that for you? I said, my God, we don't have the money for that. But I said, don't worry about the money, we're tarring it. So he came in with a crew, and he tarred the whole friggin' thing so that You know, it wouldn't be mud. And we started building the park. Hey, if you're in the neighborhood, I want you guys to come over and see the park in Madawaska Four Corners Park.
Join us for our final episode when we go on straight roads yet again, get stuck in a rain shower, and find out that misery does love Coveney. Until next time, be safe.